Hey y'all, it's When I Feel Low here. How's it going? So, I am in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for a week for work. And one thing that I've noticed is that I can't stop thinking about all the places I could busk in this environment. And so, that is the thing, that ever since I started busking over 3 years ago, that has become sort of an identity for me. It's who I am now, and it's what I do. If somebody asks me, what do you do? I could say, I busk. And so everywhere I go, I think about busking and if I could do it in that location. I definitely look at the world differently now. I look at the world as places that I could also do busking. So anytime I go somewhere new, like Milwaukee, I have been here before for work a couple years ago, but that was a shorter stay. Didn't get to see as much, and it was winter. But this time I'm here for longer, and I've seen a lot of cool places and done some cool things when after I get off my work shift and get all the work done. And I've basically been able to wonder where I could do busking. Every little place I see, there's like crowds or a storefront or a public park or you name it. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about, wow, it'd be cool to set up right there. So that's whether I'm on a work trip, I'm thinking about stuff like that, or going to visit a buddy who lives outside of my normal city limits. I make a point of trying to combine busking with, wow, it's really awesome. I make a point of trying to combine busking with somewhere else that I need to go. Now, doing it during a work trip, it's not always a possibility, but sometimes it is. And having to fly to a location makes it even more difficult, obviously, because carrying your equipment on a plane, like my full gear, my full setup, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to be able to take that on a plane, and if I did, I'd pay a lot of money for that. Now, I have considered just taking a guitar, and I've thought about, there's something about shoes. My last video, there was a pair of shoes just sitting there in a corner by a building, and now there's another pair right there here in Milwaukee. So I thought about bringing just a guitar and doing like acapella. I'm not acapella, but just playing without an amplifier or a microphone. And that's always rough, but just the fact I could do that in a new place, I'll do it. But if I have to fly, then even bringing the guitar by itself can be problematic. One, I'm afraid to just put my guitar under the plane because I'm afraid they're going to break it. Like, I even bought a pretty good case for that possibility. My case costs more than my guitar that I use, that I use for busking. I have a mono. I can't remember the model. It's a mono brand, and it costs more than my actual busking guitar. And it is a good case that is durable and probably could handle being thrown under a plane, but I definitely don't want to take that chance. That would really piss me off if my guitar got fucked up on a plane ride under the plane. Okay, and then the other option is bring the guitar in your overhead bin, and I think I've seen something where like the law says that airlines have to let you do that, let you put your guitar up in the overhead thing in the inside of the plane. But yeah, I don't think that's actually true. And if it is, I don't have the guts to ask, hey, you guys cool with this? Or even if they say yes, then you like, I don't know how that would work. You put the I'm gonna keep going this way. Even if you put like they say you can do it and then you actually try to do it, all those passengers are going to be looking at you like, what an asshole. I don't know, I would be. I'd be like, why is this guy think he's going to put this big ass guitar-shaped guitar bag up in the overhead, taking up the side, like three passengers worth of overhead space. Wow, this is great. This is this is called the RiverWalk. Amazing. So an example of where I thought about bringing my guitar and I didn't do it was when early in my busking journey, I went on a family vacation to New York City, stayed in Manhattan for a week with the family, and that was just my wife and I. But went, I see the Fonzie statue, yo. All right, the bronze Fonz. We're gonna get over there. That's gonna get on the video. All right, so the RiverWalk continues. Okay, so yeah, went to New York City. I did look into it briefly to bring my guitar, just my guitar. I knew I wasn't going to be able to bring anything more than that, but yeah, I didn't even bring the guitar because of what I said. It just didn't seem like that would be allowed. And then when I got there, I was like accepted. I'm just like, I'm not going to get to play. Boy, it'd be awesome if I could have played somewhere around all these city. I really wanted to be able to play in the subway. Thought that would be so cool. It's like iconic, right? Busker in the subway, the New York City subway. So what I did was the first couple days went by and I was like, yeah. I started thinking about it more and more. I was like, you know what? If I knew I had one option, that I could find a place to rent a guitar in Manhattan, possibly. And I finally did. I started calling around, like from my hotel room one morning. I was like, the third day I was there, second day I was there. I think it was like the second day. I was like, hey, let me, I want to start calling like guitar rental places. And then I called Guitar Center. And so long story short, they cost a lot just to borrow the guitar for like a day and return it. I was like, I don't remember what the price was, but I was like, no. Not gonna happen. Then I guess I thought, you know what? I've seen guitars for $100 at Guitar Center. That you could buy. Why rent one?
Terrible.
So, here, check it out. The bronze Fonz. The bronze Fonz donors. They actually I thought it was just a nickname. That looks just like Henry Winkler, man. I thought the bronze Fonz was just a name that the locals called this thing, but apparently that was its actual designated name. Oh, It's so cool, dude. Okay, let's keep going down the Riverwalk. So there's some cool Milwaukee stuff. All right, so the thing that where was I in this story? Sorry.
It's like aliens, son.
So the thing that I was going to say is, darn, where was I? I called a couple of, I decided I was going to just go to Guitar Center and probably see what they had for sale, right? Some used guitar or something. And that's exactly what I did. My wife and I took the subway. We took the subway everywhere. We didn't take taxis or Ubers or any of that. We just used the subway all week. And we went to wherever the closest subway stop was to the Guitar Center in Manhattan, walked into the Guitar Center, found this guitar. It was like $100 and it looked great. It was a, damn, what's that?
Or
Can't remember the name of the brand. It's like one of those knockoff, like the lower end Gibson guitars or whatever that. I can't remember. So it was beautiful, looked nice. I was like, it played nice. That was the key thing. How did it play? And so I had to buy some picks and a strap. And then I told them, hey, can you give me an old guitar box and hold it here? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guitar out busking in New York City, take it to my hotel room. And then on the last day that we're here, I'm going to come back to the store, pick up this box because I'm going to need it when I take it home on the plane. Why did I not take the box right then? Because we were on our way to, from there we were going to start just going out into the city and exploring. We actually were planning on going to the Met Museum that day. So we weren't going to stop at the hotel, and I didn't want to carry the box around all day. So we took the guitar, got back on the subway. I had this guitar on like a gunny sack. And basically we walked around and we went into Central Park, and then we walked over to the John Lennon Strawberry Fields section memorial that's there, a tribute to John Lennon, because he was murdered in New York City in 1980, and they dedicated that little section of the park to him called Strawberry Fields. And there were buskers there, and I was like, oh, you know what? I actually think we went to that the day before I got the guitar, but then I went back when I did have the guitar. But you have to have to play there, you have to have a permit, not a permit. They have a thing where, you take turns or something, and I don't know if you sign up for it or whatever, but there were people waiting, so I didn't, I couldn't get a spot, or didn't try to get a spot. I was just, as soon as this guy finished his set, the next guy was up there doing his set. Actual buskers in New York City, which was freaking cool enough in itself. Yeah, I kind of got off the Riverwalk there. Let's keep going. So it was cool seeing the other buskers, and I just had my guitar. But what's cool is one of those buskers that day inspired me to pick up to do one of the songs I saw him doing, which is I love doing that song. It's called For No One by the Beatles. The way he was doing it, it just it inspired me to add that into my set. So it's in my set to this day. So what happened was we went to the Met. Okay, so I had the guitar, and obviously I'm forgetting that I played in the subway too. Okay, so we took the subway to get to the Met and to the Strawberry Fields and all that stuff. So I had played just real briefly. If you watch one of my other videos, it says how much can you make busking? I'll link. Well, okay, I'm not going to link it here because I might. but you can find it on my channel. How much can I make busking? I talk about that. Playing in the subway briefly. So I got to play in the subway, and then when we got to the Met, I was like, okay, I want to go inside. My wife and I were planning on going to the Met Museum, obviously, but we here, can you walk through this thing? But here, hold up. But you know, now it was time to go inside, and the security guard said no. The security guard said, you can't bring that guitar in here. And when I asked him why, he said, because we have expensive, okay, they're priceless. We have in the museum, there are musical instruments of some sorts. And I guess they're saying, so like, you walk in with an instrument and then they don't know if that's like one of the instruments that are supposed to be on display there. Hi. So, sort of, I mean, that's cool, I guess, that makes sense. I think what I messed up because I didn't ask them if they could hold it for me. I might have, because that just seems like it makes sense. I probably would have thought of that then, I don't remember, but long story short, my wife and I did not get to see the Metropolitan because of my guitar. So because of my need to busk in New York City, we missed, you know, who knows if I'll ever go back there. But we missed our chance to go to the Met the time we were there. So what do I got to say about that? It's okay, because I would have rather done the busking that I got to do that day than go to the Metropolitan Museum. I don't know what I missed because I didn't see it, and I haven't looked it up online, like what's at the Met. But I know that I got a lot more value for me busking than seeing that museum. Now the thing is, did my wife get more out of me busking than seeing the Met? I don't think she did, but my wife's awesome. All right, so what I did was we just said, okay, that sucks. So we kind of went around the corner from the Met, and I played, probably the longest I got to play was right there. And I got some smiles, I got some nods, but altogether I made a fat $0 and 0 cents busking that day. Now, granted, I played like 3 or 4 songs a few times. I mean, if you total up all the minutes I spent busking, I probably did about 15 minutes altogether. The subway thing was pretty much very difficult because a train would pass, and as soon as that happens, like, you can't even hear yourself. Like, I found out later, after I got home, that you're not supposed to play in the subway unless you have permission. So the people that you see in the subway, there's a certain like rule that you have to work with the city to get a spot to be able to play there. But you know, I just stood there and just played when I could. And yeah, I mean, I wasn't there long enough for anybody to tell me to leave. So I've played in Las Vegas. I've played in the outskirts of my city, or, you know, outside of my city, because I've gone to go do things, like whether that's visit family or friends. I said that already. And now I'm here in Milwaukee, and I basically wish that I could play here. You know, I could play right here. This place is awesome. This public spot, I mean, I don't know. Someone would probably tell me to leave. That's the thing. It's always exciting because you never know if frankly, my rule is, what is it? Don't ask for permission, beg for forgiveness. That's how I roll. I don't try to like figure it out. Am I supposed to be able to play here? If I see, even when I see a sign that says don't play here, I'm sorry, I might do it because, you know, like that just might be a preference of the people that put the sign up. And even if they, you know, like, so that time I played in Las Vegas was on a pedestrian bridge. I found out after I was done that that's against the law. Now according to the law, it says I could have been fined. That would have sucked. Yes, but you know, that was one of the best the most awesome busks I ever had. It was in front of the Sphere on a bridge, and you can see the Sphere in back of me. Yeah, by the way, those two locations, Las Vegas and New York City, were both before I had a busking channel. So I didn't have a video camera to get any of that. I have a couple photos of, yeah, and I have put some of the video that my wife shot on her phone and took pictures of on her phone in that video. I was just talking about my how much can you make busking video. So you can see that there, but yeah. So many good places to busk, and as a busker, you will find that every place you see is an opportunity, a possible opportunity. And it's a thrilling thing. It's a thrilling thing to think, like every time I play somewhere new, it's thrilling. It's even more thrilling when there's a risk of being told to leave, of course. Oh, what's this? You can catch a boat. The bronze fawns. We got to see the bronze fawns. Yay. All right, well, thanks for watching, everyone. Really appreciate it. If you made it this far, you're the shit. Please give a like and subscribe if you feel the urge. I'd really appreciate that as well. Thank you so much. Take care. Peace.